everyone, welcome to another episode of Eat Something with D. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. We've been dealing with some technical difficulties. Basically, it's a really gray day and we had some lighting issues, but we're here now and we're ready to get started. As usual, I'm going to say thank you to everybody that's been encouraging me on my journey. I'm just a home chef and I love sharing the recipes that I grew up with, so it's really, really heartening to see all of you tuning in and sending me your comments and sending me your pictures of you trying my recipes. So please keep doing that. Once I have enough, I'm going to share those photos with everybody. So today I'm going to be cooking something that is once again a childhood favorite of mine. Now, of course, I'm Indian, so the breadth of my repertoire is mostly Indian food, which, you know, I just call food. But my mom also made some really delicious recipes for us growing up that weren't necessarily Indian food, like a good old mac and cheese. And today what I'm going to make for you is my mom's version of mac and cheese, but over the years I have sort of tweaked it and made it my own. So I'm going to get started right away with this recipe, and then you'll see what makes it special and what makes it my mac and cheese. So let's get going right away. I'm really, really excited to share this recipe with you. So, okay, I'm going to turn my camera, and I am going to... You can see my face. You can see my wonderful ingredients. Here we go. You guys see everything? Perfect. Okay. So, I've got, of course, my macaroni all cooked up already. I seasoned it with a little bit of salt and pepper. That's about 4 cups of cooked macaroni because I'm going to be making 4 individual tiny portions of mac and cheese. And then, here's where it becomes mine. I love a nice smoky cheese. I love that smoky taste. So I have here half a cup of smoked Gouda. Now, it doesn't have to be Gouda, to be perfectly honest. You could even do a smoked Havarti as long as you have that smoky flavor. That's all you're really looking for. And then I've got a half a cup of good old medium cheddar. And then I've got a quarter cup of mozzarella, because that's going to give you that ooey gooey texture that everybody loves in mac and cheese. And these are all grated really, really finely. I've got a little more mozzarella here for garnish later, and I've also got some Parmesan here for garnish later. And then we've got 2 tablespoons here of just all-purpose white flour and 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm not going to lie to you, this recipe's got a little bit of butter in it. And then, of course, we have a cup of milk here. I use almond milk, and that's just a personal preference because for whatever reason, straight up milk doesn't do me so well. So almond milk is fine. I know that the purists are going to say, oh my God, you've got to have heavy cream for mac and cheese, but I do a good old almond milk. And the reason we're doing all of these cheeses and this milk and everything is because I'm going to make you a cheese sauce. We're not just going to throw in our cheese into this hot macaroni and call it a day. We're going to make it ooey gooey mac and cheese, and therefore I need my milk and all of these cheeses, so we're going to make a cheese sauce. Okay, and of course this is my pepper grinder for freshly ground pepper later on. So I'm going to just move that out of the way for now, and we're going to get started with our cheese sauce. So let me bring my pot over, and I will move you guys over to my stove as usual. Hi. Over to my stove as usual so you guys can watch me cook this up, because really that's kind of the point of this whole thing. Here we go. Okay, so I've got my, what do I have in my pot there? Okay, got my pot there. And the whole idea with this cheese sauce is to cook on a medium flame or a low flame. You really don't want to heat this up too fast, because it's just going to burn, or your milk is going to split. So you want to be very careful, just nice and slow. There's no rush for this recipe. So we're going to dump in our butter. I feel like I have a little more than 3 teaspoons there. Hang on, 3 tablespoons there. There, hang on. I'm a home chef, deal with me. There's my butter in there. Got that melting. Got my lovely sauce spoon. Do you like my big fat sauce spoon here? Okay, so you get your butter melting in there. I feel like I might need to angle this just a little more so you guys can see exactly what's going on here. There, much better. Right? Maybe not much better, maybe a little better. Okay, so let's melt our butter down. on a nice medium flame. And then we're going to throw in our flour. And I believe this is called a roux. And so we're going to make a butter flour roux. If there's any professional chefs out there that are watching me with amusement, please tell me if I'm right. But here we go. We've got our nice roux going. Now, you want this to cook just a little bit because essentially it's just like raw flour and butter in there. So you don't want raw flour. It's going to taste a little bit off. So you want this to cook down just a titch. Just kind of stir it the whole time. And as I've always said, go with a good non-stick pot. It's going to serve you well in the long run. Cleanup is really easy, especially if you're doing something like cheese sauce. So just a nice non-stick pot, nothing sticks, nothing burns, and you can just cook with peace of mind. So we've got our roux going. And you can actually, if you are somebody that cooks a lot, you'll actually notice a change in smell as the flour cooks into the butter. It won't smell as raw anymore. I don't know how else to explain it, but that's kind of a good indication that you've got your flour to where it needs to be. And then I'm just going to make sure that that you can see what I'm doing there. It's nicely mixed in. It's a really thick kind of butter and flour mixture. And then what I like to do is, now make sure that your milk is actually warm, or at the very least room temperature, because if you're going to put cold milk into a hot mixture of butter and flour, that's not going to be great, and then you'll have to heat the milk up on the stove, and that's really no fun. So you really want things to be at similar temperatures when it comes to a cheese sauce, because otherwise it's going to get lumpy and weird. So first we're going to put in about half a cup of our milk, and yeah, just about half. Just going to stir it in, put that there, and then very quickly you'll see that it thickens up, like really, really quickly. Even on a medium flame, it's getting lumpy and it's thickening up, and you want to keep it moving to avoid any major lumps. Let me just add a little titch more of our milk. And then what I like to do is add first my Gouda. Let's get that in there. And my cheddar. And we're going to put the mozzarella in last because it really melts up really quickly and gets ooey and gooey. So first you want to give this a chance to melt down into your cheese sauce. So you've got your two cheeses in there right now. Don't worry about the lumpiness. It's going to get there. And then just gently add the rest of your milk. Now you'll notice that I'm constantly stirring this because I don't want any lumps, and I also don't want it to burn or split. You have to keep it moving so that your milk doesn't split, and of course that your cheese melts evenly into this. Now, this does take about 5 to 7 minutes. You just have to be patient with it, and you really have to keep it moving. So your wrist is going to get some exercise there. And you know, I don't know, count some sheep, think about your day, do some mathematics in your head, whatever you need to do to pass the time. I'm going to tell you actually a little bit about my history with mac and cheese. I am not only a mac and cheese enthusiast, I feel like I'm a mac and cheese connoisseur, because I will, if there's mac and cheese on a menu in a restaurant, I will eat it. I don't care if it's a fine dining establishment. I don't care if it's whatever. If there's mac and cheese on the menu, I have to try it. And I've tried so much mac and cheese in my lifetime, but I feel like it's really hard to get one that's comparable to my mom's or to my recipe. I feel like everybody feels that way about their mother's cooking. So I feel that way about my mac and cheese as well. I really feel like it's been extremely difficult to find anything that's compared to my mom's. And I know that mac and cheese isn't probably the healthiest thing to eat, you know, but don't have it every day, obviously. I mean, it's going to clog your arteries sooner or later. But I did just have a conversation with a doctor, and she did say that, you know, good old homemade mac and cheese is at least better for you than the packaged stuff. So there's, you know, there's that. At least you can control what you're putting into it. You're putting good, wholesome ingredients. You know, and if you want to do the low-fat versions of things, of course you can do the low-fat versions of things. There's no harm in that. All right, so we've got our Gouda and cheddar nicely mixed into our milk, flour, and butter mixture. And then I'm going to throw in our mozzarella here to add that extra gooiness and thicken it up a little bit. And mozzarella melts really, really quickly. You'll see it go very quickly. But like I said, this does require a little bit of patience because we want it to cook nice and evenly, nice and slowly, and not split on us. I do understand that this is probably not the most exciting episode of Eat Something with Dee because you're just watching me stir this pot nonstop, but this is the foundation of a good mac and cheese, so you gotta have some patience. So we're gonna keep going. Mixy, mixy, mixy. Now, when I said lumpy, of course I mean the flour lumps, because there's no more flour lumps left, of course. There's little bits, you can still see some grated cheese in there, which is not really an issue. I mean, it all goes down in your gullet and you're fine. But you do have this nice, thick, creamy texture already in your cheese sauce, and that's really what you're looking for. You can keep stirring this endlessly till all the cheese is melted. If you have no patience like me, you can stop, and this will do you just fine. Now, the other thing is this sauce will also thicken as it cools, so you kind of have to move fast. So I'm going to turn this on a very, very low flame and just leave it there and get started with our well, we're almost ready to plate, but I'm going to show you why I call this my amped up mac and cheese. So let me just get sorted here really quickly. And you will learn. I'm starting. It's fine. It's all good. And you will learn why it's called my amped up mac and cheese. All right. So let's bring you guys back over here. I've got my little empty bowl, of course, and we're going to just spoon in some macaroni. Now, I mean, I don't really have to teach you guys how to make macaroni, right? Just like follow the package instructions, you're good. You're gonna spoon it in. Wow, this spoon is like useless. Here, just dump it all in. Okay, perfect. So you got your macaroni in there, and now your sauce. Oh, look at this thickness. This is bubbling up nicely. Now, in case you're wondering, I didn't put any salt in the cheese sauce because the cheese itself is fairly salty, and you've also salted your pasta. But if you really, really want, you can give it a taste and see if it's not salty enough. Just, you know, add salt to taste and you're fine. And so I'm just going to spoon this ooey gooey goodness on top. I feel like my lighting is a little messed up, so you might not be able to see, but there we go. We got all that wonderful cheese sauce on our mac and cheese. Whoa, it's really bright. All right, well, just so you know, there is cheese sauce on this macaroni, and then I just throw on a little bit of cracked pepper, and at this point, you could just, you know, throw on a little bit of Parmesan, stick a fork in it, and call it a meal. But this is amped up mac and cheese. So we're going to take it a step further. You can do it like this. Throw in your Parmesan. Maybe even throw in just a little more mozzarella. And then put your oven on broil. My oven just has a low and high setting, so low broil. If you're looking for a temperature, I would say about 350 Fahrenheit, not very high. And then just toss it in your oven to get a little bit of a singe on it. I'm gonna put my oven mitts on. Open up my oven, and of course, by the magic of me and pre-preparation, I've got a wonderful, already done, baked mac and cheese, which is absolutely delicious, and I feel like it just adds that little extra crust and little extra dimension, and it makes me really, really happy, and this is how I normally eat my mac and cheese. That's one way to do it, but if you really want to get crazy, I like to add, and this is the surprise ingredient, mashed potato! Mashed potato, mashed potato. So I've got some mac and cheese in here with my cheese sauce and everything. And then you just, if you've got some leftover potatoes, mashed potatoes, that's great. You can also just make some mashed potatoes for this dish specifically. And then you just spread it on top. Carby goodness. Like I said, I'm not pretending that this is some sort of low-fat, healthy recipe. I'm just saying it's homemade so you can control what goes into it. And then you just spread it on there nice and pretty like. And then I like to add, because why not? Just add a little more mozzarella on there. And once again, you can throw it into your oven, broil it up. I don't think you need to put it in for more than 5 to 7 minutes. You just want a nice brown color on it. And so I'm going to put that in as well and bring out my other one that I've been cooking. Let me put this in here and bring out this wonderful already done dish. So you can see the mashed potatoes have got a little bit of a singe on them. The mozzarella's browned up beautifully. And that, my friends, is a carb-tastic dish that you will absolutely love. Everybody that I've ever served it to has really, really freaked out over it and sort of been in ecstasy for a little while, bit of a food coma for a little while, you know what I'm saying? So let me just give you some final last looks at our delicious mac and cheese that you can do. You can have it straight, you can do it baked up. These dishes are hot, I should remember that. Okay, put my gloves back on, here we go. Right. There's your baked mac and cheese. There's your mac and cheese with mashed potato on top. And I cannot wait to dig into this. So let me just say a quick few words to you guys before I go. Let me see. Still hot. Okay. I'm going to just hold that last one up for you so you can take a look. Here we go. Yes. Okay. So this is my amped up smoky mac and cheese with a lovely layer of decadent mashed potato on top. And if you guys want a mashed potato recipe and you don't have your own, tell me in the comments below and I'll make a little side video for you to make mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are pretty much a no-brainer. And this is a way to put together 2 of your favorite comfort foods in one. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I am working very hard on a blog to make sure all these recipes are in written form for you. So do stay tuned for that. I'll have more information on that shortly. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye. Okay, but you have to do this because I can't.